Republicans in Texas have a habit of working with each other. The way I understand it, Democrats, and you included, are upset with 24-hour voting that was only in one county for one day during the pandemic. You're upset there's no more drive-through voting. And you're upset that there's voter ID required instead of signature verification. Am I right on those three counts?
Well, and also that there seems to be in the bill, it grants more authority on election day to a poll watcher than it does to the precinct judge. And let me tell you why those are significant. Because, and I explained this to the members yesterday. On the surface, it looks like those are benign. I mean, they're not necessarily this or that, or for this person or that person or this group or that group. But the reality is that the majority of the people who took advantage of both of those provisions, were black and brown. And so when you take it away, what you're doing is you at least give the appearance of targeting black and brown folks. And so my point yesterday was to give them some options, because those are the same things we've dealt with in the past. It might seem rather benign that somebody would ask you how many bowls at a bar soap. But at the same time, the fact of the matter is that was used discriminatorily against black and brown folks. And so here we are, essentially following the same pattern, and that's what we're trying to prevent. Our problem is that we have increasing access to voting, and in fact, in Texas, we spent a heck of a lot of time trying to expand the reach of the Second Amendment so that everybody could carry a gun. It seems to me they ought to have the same outlook on the constitutional amendments regarding voting, so that we expand the opportunities for people to vote.
And Harold, you sound personally reasonable, and everything you bring up is true. And in our past, those things are actually happened. But when you look at today, there's now 13 days of early voting. You have added a situation where counties have to require people who use mail-in voting to contact them if anything's wrong to cure those ballots. The drive-through voting only took place during the pandemic, and the 24-hour as well. And I think it's almost a disparity to minorities to think they don't want to get out of the car. Why does that a black or white or minority or majority issue?
Well, again, I go back to the point that I made, that because disproportionately minority folks utilized it, then that became, in targeting to do away with it, it almost as if what you're doing is trying to do away with minority participation. But let me say this.
But do you really think that after talking to Dan Patrick and the governor, do you really think they want to get rid of minority? And you could tell racism when you see it. Do you think they're being racist in putting any of these things together? Do you think they don't want minorities to vote?
Well, I know that it seems to me that having a smaller tent is what they're after. And in fact, I had to argue that we have a expression of intent in the bill and what it's supposed to do. I raised the point yesterday with them that shouldn't the intent be to increase access to voting, which is not in there at the point. And so the author tended to agree with me that that should be one of the provisions in the bill regarding intent. And so I don't call them racist. I don't say that. But I do know in the application of the provisions that they're advocating, it has a disproportionate impact on minorities. And black folks is bound to.
I have not seen the stat that said minorities need the drive-through, and I'd just like to add this: you have confirmed that you are in talks with trying to work this out, but you're not necessarily representing everybody that is left. The last thing I'd like to ask you. You guys decided you didn't want to give them a quorum, so you left. Would you also recommend that the Republican senators in Washington leave the country if they don't like what Democrats are proposing because they're in the majority?
Well, I think when you're in the legislative body, you use all the rules that are to your advantage. I think that's being done by the senators now in terms of the rules. They have a filibuster rule, and so they're using that effectively. And so why shouldn't everybody who is a part of the body be able to utilize the rules to their advantage?
Right. I just don't know. Texans, they don't usually cut and run when there's an argument to be won, and it seems like you guys have.
Let me say this. Everybody points to that, but I think the point is that we've all got to, at some point, come together to do some things.
And at least, unfortunately, we have to go. But Harold, thanks for your time. At least you're trying to do something, and you came back to do it. And I hope your sister's okay. I really do. Thanks so much. It sounds like you're a reasonable guy, and you can work this out.
We're going to go. All right, thank you.
All right, still ahead on our show. Portland Mayor under pressure amid his plans for a Welcome Back festival after a year of nearly nonstop violence. Pete Hegseth on that. Pete will also join me tonight on Fox News Primetime at 7 o'clock. Amongst our guests, David Petraeus, Stephen Miller, Michael Waltz, Mark Thiessen, and Will Kane. But first, Janice Dean is getting an up-close look at balloons as she prepares to take off for the Festival of Ballooning.
There's something here from somewhere else. The war machine springs to life, opens up one eager eye, focusing it on the sky. Dancing on the red balloons go by.
With Voltaren Arthritis Pain Gel, my husband's got his moves back.
An alternative to pills, Voltaren is the first full prescription strength gel for powerful arthritis pain relief. Voltaren, the joy of movement.
Carl and Alan, they're staying at the same hotel, but there's one big difference, the price. Carl found the hotel on his usual website, whereas Alan used Trivago to scan hotel deals from the major booking sites and save $30 a night. Hotel, Trivago.
We made USAA insurance for members like Martin, an Air Force veteran made of doing what's right, not what's easy. So when a hailstorm hit, USAA reached out before he could even inspect the damage.
That's how you do it right.
USAA insurance is made just the way Martin's family needs it. With hassle-free claims, he got paid before his neighbor even got started. Because doing right by our members, that's what's right. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
Ray loves vacations, but his diabetes never seemed to take one. Everything felt like a no. Everything. But then Ray went from no to no. With Freestyle Libre 14-Day, now he knows his glucose levels when he needs to and when he wants to. So Ray can be Ray. Take the mystery out of your glucose levels and lower your A1C. Now you know. Try it for free. Visit freestylelibre.us.
This past school year has been filled with ups and downs, and like most parents, you may be worried your child isn't on track for fall. With the Becca Academy video lessons, your child will not only get back on track, they'll stay a step ahead. A Becca spiral learning method constantly reinforces what has been taught, so they can retain more and not lose ground or confidence along the way. A Becca is faith-based, easy to follow, and used by millions, and now it's the perfect time to try a Becca for free. Go to abecca.com/free trial for 25 free hours of video lessons.
Aloha! Isn't this a cozy little room? Sorry your vacation request took so long to get approved, so you missed out on the suite special, but lucky for you, they had this.
When employees are forced to wait for vacation request approvals, it can really cramp their style.
Leave me to it. And just
With Paycom, employees enter and manage their own HR data in a single, easy-to-use software. Visit paycom.com and schedule a demo today.
Dry eye symptoms driving you crazy? Inflammation might be to blame.
Time for Agent Burn.
Over-the-counter eye drops typically work by lubricating your eyes and may provide temporary relief.
Those will probably pass by me.
Xiidra works differently, targeting inflammation that can cause dry eye disease.
Xiidra, no!
It can provide lasting relief. Xiidra is the only FDA-approved non-steroid treatment specifically for the signs and symptoms of dry eye disease. 1 drop in each eye twice a day. Don't use if you're allergic to Xiidra. Common side effects include eye irritation, discomfort or blurred vision when applied to the eye, and unusual taste sensation. Don't touch container tip to your eye or any surface. After using Xiidra, wait 15 minutes before reinserting contacts. Talk to an eye doctor about Xiidra.
I'd prefer you didn't.
Xiidra. Not today, dry eye.
Hey, Gracie, tell Mom and Dad they gotta see the living quarters. They are awesome. Mom, Dad, Junior wants to show you something up on deck 3.
Right now, we just started.
Don't worry, we have plenty of time.
When you can't watch, listen.
Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
It is your shot of the morning.
Because after a canceled event last year, the balloons are taking the skies once again in Reddington, New Jersey for the 38th annual Lottery Festival of Ballooning. All right, let's check in with senior meteorologist Janice Dean, our balloon correspondent for the day. Hello, Janice.
She's in a hot air balloon, it looks like.
No, we are inside Vinny Panico's balloon, and I want to talk about how you become a pilot.
Absolutely. So, this is the same pilot's license and the same training that you get no matter what you fly. The difference is when you're training for a hot air balloon, the operational part is all about lighter than air. So I know the same runway laws, the same seatbelt laws, the same navigation laws that any other pilot does, but with a balloon, I just have this type of operation rather than fixed wing or rotor, which are helicopters.
How did you get into something like this?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I actually live here in Reddington, New Jersey, right next to this balloon festival. Growing up with it in my backyard, I naturally would just come here as a kid. I started volunteer crewing, met some pilots who were local who were willing to help me train to get my license, and here we are today, my second hot air balloon, my 7th festival, and I've been flying for about 10 years.
Tell me about the weather, because it's deceiving. You see sunny skies, but you have to have perfect, specifications.
Yeah, balloons are really sensitive to wind. This is a big sail. So somebody might go outside, see the trees flutter a little bit, see flags dancing lightly. That's going to be too windy for us to fly. We're looking for conditions about 7 miles an hour or less, clear skies, great visibility. Really, we fly at sunrise and sunset because that's the most ideal time where the weather systems are the calmest.
So you really look at the forecast every year for this festival.
Yeah, absolutely. We watch this very, very closely. And really, we're micro weather, right? So you're going to tell us about the weather in this region. I need to know the weather in this specific field at this very minute, not the weather in the New York region.
How excited are you this year? I mean, last year we didn't have it because of COVID, and I think a lot of people are going to want to come out and have a good time.
Yeah, this is a great year. I'm so excited. We had a ton of balloons out here this morning. It's going to be a packed weekend. We got a great lineup with Sticks and Bare Naked Ladies this weekend. I am so excited for it. The really cool thing about this is it being in my backyard. Ballooning is such a small community. All my friends from around the country gather here to fly with me right in my hometown. There's nothing better than it.
I love that we are inside your balloon. Do you do this often?
I do it often. So it's been a little bit of a light year, but we're flying out every month, most weekends, and this is it. This is inside the balloon, and I absolutely love being in here.
I love that I'm in here, and I want to take a ride with you. Will you do that for me?
Absolutely. We can see if we can get that done later. I know it's getting a little late in the day, but we'll see if we can make that happen.
Awesome. Okay, so 3-day festival here in New Jersey. Vinny's going to be here with this beautiful balloon. We're going to be here all weekend. I'm so glad the weather cooperated. Yep. Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll see you soon.
All right, Steve Ainsley. Brian, I can't believe I'm inside a balloon.
I know. Don't let him take off with you inside
there. I will be riding in one of these balloons. Stay tuned.
You better be in the gondola. Just saying.
Don't
all right.
start the fire.
Thank you very much, JD. Meanwhile, the mayor of Portland, Oregon, taking heat over his plans for a Welcome Back festival. Welcome back after a year of nearly non-stop violence, surging crime, and fiery protests. In a tweet calling to, quote, rekindle the love, Mayor Wheeler highlighting an event that starts today with concerts, roller skating, and more family-friendly activity. Social media users quick to mock his plan, like this Twitter user who pointed out gang members and Antifa love roller skating. Fox and Friends weekend co-host Pete Hegseth also loves roller skating. Pete,
I do.
Obviously, we've been watching the images from Portland for a year. It's a mess there. But now he's realizing, wait, nobody's coming to visit. We've got to pretend things are just fine, even though last week, downtown, an 18-year-old woman was shot and a bunch of other people as well. It's not safe there.
Yeah, so we've got a gang violence problem, we've got a homeless problem, we've got a drug problem, we've got the businesses that were shut down during COVID-19. We've got all these problems, none of which have been addressed. And this Ted Wheeler, he's taken the Michael Scott approach from The Office. Morale's at an all-time low. No, we have not fixed the processes by which your leadership addresses whether or not the office runs properly. We're just going to throw a huge party. And if we throw a huge party, then everyone will feel better about their terrible lot in life sitting in the corner of the office not being productive. We just throw a big roller skating party in Portland. Everyone will be distracted from the needles and the gunfire and the businesses that are closed and the fact that no one wants to visit because the police have been defunded and demoralized. Who's going to secure this big old party? Is it going to be the defunded and demoralized police that were told to stand down effectively against Antifa and Black Lives Matter thugs? No. So it's the indicative of the worst form of leadership, not actually addressing things, pretending like a party will make everyone feel better, and of course it only makes it worse because it exposes how out of touch he is, incredibly out of touch with his own city.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how many people actually show up for this fun weekend that starts today. Meanwhile, Pete, speaking of fun weekends, you're going to be here on the Kirby Couch tomorrow morning starting at 6. Who are some of your guests over the next 2 days?
You better believe it. Here's our list for this weekend. Dan Bongino, Morgan Ortegas, Jack Brewer, Katie Pavlich, Lawrence Jones, and that is just the beginning. So check us out Saturday, Sunday, 4 hours, 6 to 10. We'll be there.
Aren't you also celebrating National Tequila Day?
I think we are. Yes, that's Will's favorite, so of course we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Don't give me a reason.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Pete, thank you very much. We'll be watching this weekend.
7 kids.
Thank you.
That'll do it.
7 kids.
More of a reason.
It does turn off the voices in your head. Just saying. I've heard what I've read in books. Anyway, watch this weekend. Meanwhile, up next, Journal. Key witnesses take the stand in the murder trial of a University of South Carolina student. Nancy Brace breaks down the new developments, and Nancy is next.
Why spend all your money on just one part at the typical auto parts store? When at rockauto.com, you can get all the parts you need with money left over to buy lunch. Go to rockauto.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because as a fiduciary, it's our responsibility to always put clients first.
So you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. We help clients enjoy a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility.
One that we don't take lightly. It's why our fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. Fisher Investments is clearly different.
From prom dresses to workouts and new adventures, you hope the more you give, the less they'll miss. But even if your teen was vaccinated against meningitis in the past, they may be missing vaccination for meningitis B. Although uncommon, up to 1 in 5 survivors of meningitis will have long-term consequences. Now, as you're thinking about all the vaccines your teen might need, make sure you ask your doctor if your teen is missing meningitis B vaccination.
Summer is a state of mind you can visit anytime. Savor your summer with Lincoln.
This is the greatest idea you'll ever hear. Okay. It's an app that compares hundreds of travel sites for hotels and cars and vacation rentals, like Kayak does for flights.
So it's Kayak.
Yeah, like Kayak.
Why don't you just call it Kayak?
I'm calling it Canoe.
Compare hundreds of travel sites for thousands of trips. Kayak. Search one and done.
Get new floors during Empire Today's gigantic 75% off sale. That's carpet, hardwood, vinyl, and laminate. 75% off. Empire makes getting beautiful new floors easy. See
samples in your home. Get a free estimate and have your floors professionally installed. Update your floors with Empire and get 75% off carpet, hardwood, vinyl, and laminate. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. When you're a small business owner, there's no such thing as 9 to 5. Days are longer, and business hours, well, they're anything but predictable, especially when you have clients like ours. When I considered payroll providers for my business, I looked for a solution that fit into my busy schedule. Sure Payroll makes running payroll easy, and its US-based customer service is there for me when I have questions, after hours, and even Saturdays.
Visit surepayroll.com for a 2-month free trial, because small business is our business.
To make my vision a reality, my Verilux progressive lenses provide seamless transitions from near to far, with every detail in sharp focus. That's seeing no limits. Verilux lenses by Essilor.
Hiring? ZipRecruiter helps me find qualified candidates really fast.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate in the first day.
If you have a job, there's a candidate for you on ZipRecruiter.
Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Fox.
Several key witnesses taking the stand yesterday in day 3 of the trial for the man that's charged with killing University of South Carolina student Samantha Josephson. Nathan Rowland is accused of kidnapping and killing her, who mistook him for an Uber driver back in May of 2019. The suspect's ex-girlfriend testifying against him in court.
When I picked her up from daycare.
In that seat?
Yes, ma'am.
And you say she gets blood on her shoe?
Yes, ma'am.
From the back seat?
From stepping on the floorboard.
Picked her daughter up from daycare and had blood in her shoe driving his car. Nancy Grace is the host of Crime Stories on Fox Nation, and she joins us now. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me. It was a very tough day in the courtroom yesterday where family of this gorgeous young girl, Samantha Josephson, had to see a murder weapon, and this murder weapon it's nasty looking. It is a bladed multi-tool. It looks like a double-headed knife, and the girlfriend of the defendant saw him cleaning it and his car out and said, "Why are you doing that?" He said, "It's none of your business." So the family had to see this weapon and their daughter's blood-drenched clothes, so bloody you couldn't even tell what color her shirt was. It was a tough day.
You know, Nancy, I grew up in this town, Columbia, South Carolina, not too far from where you live in Atlanta, and this really shook the entire country because we all take Ubers, and after that, we all started checking our phones, checking the license tag, making sure we were getting into the right Uber. How he used this weapon? What did he? I read that he drove around a few times and then came back to the scene.
Yeah,
where did he dump her body? How did he do this? Did he jump in the back seat?
This is what happened. She had been out celebrating. She was about to graduate from college, and she had already been accepted to law school at Drexel with a scholarship.
Wow.
And the reason I'm telling you that is because she was no dummy. And that makes all of us, or we should wonder and watch what we're doing. If somebody this smart could have been tricked, we can, and our children can too. So she's leaving this celebration from the Bird Dog restaurant and bar that night with her friends. She's called an Uber. She goes outside. This guy was trolling the area, pulls up, and gets her as if he's the Uber. She is found ultimately by hunters 65 miles away, but only 2 miles from where he had lived. He knew the area very well. She was stabbed over 100 times, head to toe, face, neck, torso, hands, feet. Here's a problem for the state. There was none of her DNA on his body and none of his DNA on her body, and when they booked him in, he had no cuts or scratches. But I'd like to point out, when he was arrested after a foot chase, that's significant, her blood was on his tennis shoes.
Wow. I know that he had the child safety locks on the car door so she couldn't get out. Let's talk about your Fox Nation special. It's a Bill Cosby investigation with Nancy Grace. Tell us about it.
Well, I'm very proud that we get to show the viewers the victim's testimony, what they would have said if they could have. And it portrays the anguish that they have gone through after Cosby, the rapist, is released.
All right, we can't wait to watch it. Thank you so much, Nancy. It's on Fox Nation now.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is going to join us live. And up next, how does $10,000 sound to you? Tom Shalhoub tells us how you can make it yours with the Fox Bet Super 6 Quiz Show.
Can we even afford this house?
I'm pretty sure we can.
Pretty sure. With Rocket Mortgage, you can be certain.
What's the difference?
I'm pretty sure he just needs a ride to the airport.
Let's go, sir.
When you need to be certain about how much home you can afford,
Rocket Camp.
Sandals Grand Antigua was incredible.
The pool was as large as the ocean.
And the beach was perfect. But what I remember most was falling in love. All over again. Sandals Grand Antigua. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
My name is Buck, and I'm a very happy Balance of Nature user. I moved from California to Texas in December of last year. It's one of the few places if your car breaks down, within 5 minutes somebody's pulled up behind you wanting to help you out. I just retired 3 months ago from 4 careers. I was in law enforcement, and I got kind of beat down over the years. Since I was taking Balance of Nature, I just keep on going, and I know it's had an effect on my attitude. Every day I get up and I just have tons of energy, and I have no problem at all. For 83 years old, I think I'm winning. The best years are still ahead.
Start your journey with the best fruit and vegetable product on the market by going to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FOXNEWS.
America, we're in this together.
And if you can, get the vaccine.
For information on vaccine sites, visit the vaccine finder on the homepage of foxnews.com.
Are you tired of using towels you think are going to be amazing, but don't actually dry you? They just push water around on your skin.
Other towels seem to smear the water on your skin because of the coatings.
After I dry off, my skin is still wet. You deserve a better towel. Introducing MyPillow towels, the first towel that is guaranteed to dry you faster.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. I've created the best towel ever where it actually feels soft but dries us. What a concept.
The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton. With proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency, they dry you faster and are guaranteed to work.
I've interrupted this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go. Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive and it's nice and small.
The MyPillow topper, for the first time, has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the MyPillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
MyPillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but so much more. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Good morning and welcome back. We have your headlines now. And how about this? An argument over football turns deadly at a cheesesteak joint in Philadelphia. Witnesses say an Eagles fan and Giants fan were fighting outside Pat's King of Steaks when the Eagles fan pulled out a gun, opened fire, and ran off. The Giants fan was shot in the torso and died at the hospital. The gunman was later arrested after turning himself into police. A generous gesture from country star Luke Combs. He's paying for the funerals of 3 young men who died while attending the Faster Horses Music Festival in Michigan. Dawson Brown, Richie Mays Jr., and Cole Sova were found dead inside a trailer. Investigators say the 3 men most likely suffered carbon monoxide poisoning from a portable generator that may have been leaking. 2 other men who were also in the trailer are in critical condition. Well, forget defunding the police. The Minneapolis City Council will vote on a ballot measure that would replace city police with a new public safety department. The department would include licensed police officers, mental health responders, and substance abuse specialists. Now, if passed, the amendment would appear on general election ballots for residents in November. And then there's this story. A 100-year-old World War II veteran fulfills a lifelong dream. Ima Black was treated to a ride in a Navy helicopter. Black served in the Women's Voluntary Emergency Services throughout the war. The chopper ride was a special birthday gift from the Navy. Black really wanted to ride on a submarine, but civilians aren't allowed. Despite that, as you can see in those photos, she was all smiles. That was incredible.
Terrific.
Yep.
Waited 100 years. For it. Thank you,
Jillian.
Thanks, Jillian. All right, the Fox Bet Super 6 app is giving you another opportunity to win $10,000 in a quiz show game. All you have to do is answer 6 questions correctly on a wide variety of topics.
And we are about to give you the exact questions that you can win the money with. Fox Nation host Tom Shalhoub is the host of Fox Nation Happy Hour with episodes streaming now. Sign up, foxnation.com, for all of your favorite stuff on your favorite device.
That's right. Good morning to you, Tom.
Good morning, Ainsley. We've got some great questions this week. It's so easy to download the app, and you can play with one finger. Let's go. Question number 1.
Okay.
How many Olympic medals will the United States have by Sunday night? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 or more?
I'm going to say D, 3.
No, definitely 5. You got to go with the most. It's USA.
I'm going to off to a slow start.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 1.
What? Ainsley says 5 or more. Okay, question number 2. Which of the following teams will score the most runs on Saturday? Pirates, Yankees, Cardinals, Rangers, Royals, or a tie?
Royals.
Yankees.
My team.
I think I'm going to go with Yankees because I want a rooting interest.
Yeah, everyone's got a different team. I always go with tie in situations like this. Question number 3. How many stocks in the Dow will close the day in negative territory by 4 p.m. on Friday? Under 2, 3 or 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 11, 12 to 14, or 15 or more?
Can I call Charles Payne, or do I have to answer right now?
Wouldn't it be great to phone a friend and have Charles ready there?
Yeah, I hope he'd pick up. C. I'm going to go with C.
I'm going with C, too.
Because everybody else is.
When you look at the device, C shows that stretch of blue. That means more people think that it's that. So I'm going to go with that, too. It's
How about a celebrity question? Which of the following celebrities will have the most Instagram posts on Friday and Saturday? Britney Spears, Justin Bieber, The Rock, Paris Hilton, Gwen Stefani, or a tie?
I'm going to say Gwen Stefani because she's in love and she can't help herself.
I'm going to go with Britney.
Yeah, me too.
She's not in love with her father, and she can't help herself.
And she's in the news a lot.
Right.
Is that a song, Brian?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I know I wouldn't sing it.
It's going to be a hit.
Thank you.
Which of the following movies will be the highest on the best sellers in Amazon Video? Wrath of Man, A Quiet Place, Rick and Morty, Animal Kingdom, Nobody, or Yellowstone?
Oh, Yellowstone season 3.
Definitely.
I've been waiting for that.
When is that dropping? This weekend?
I guess so.
Nice.
You didn't put my favorite show ever?
What?
Fred Claus?
No. You know what started? It's tonight.
Ted
Lasso.
Ted Lasso drops tonight.
It's not on that. It's not on that platform.
I'm going to talk to our team of analysts.
Which ones do we watch first? Ted Lasso or Yellowstone?
I'm going to say Yellowstone too because everyone talks about it.
So
It's
good.
great. I find it a little dark. A lot of
I
play.
love Yellowstone. Okay, who will win the Will Eisner Best Continuing Series at Comic-Con? Bitterroot, Daredevil, The Department of Truth, Gideon Falls, Stillwater, or Usagi Yojimbo?
Stillwater. I'll go with Stillwater. Oh, they're saying B. They're
Gideon
saying Daredevil.
Falls, yeah.
Pass. You got to pick one. B. Daredevil. I don't know any.
Yeah, a guess is as good as because they're all guesses, right?
Pretty much.
There's your 6 questions. That's the Fox Bet Super 6 app. You see how easy it is to play, and it's a lot of fun, too.
Absolutely, and we've had one of the winners on who won $10,000. He didn't know. He took a guess on a couple of them, and he got $10,000.
And is it your money, Tom?
It's Terry Bradshaw's.
Everybody's playing with my money, and you know I'm loaded, Brian.
Okay, fine.
All right, Tom, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
We're coming up on 8. So download the Fox Bet Super 6.
It's an exciting game. It's a great idea.
Absolutely. All right. In 18 seconds, it's going to be 8 o'clock in New York City. Hour 3 of Fox and Friends starts right now.
Mask mandates are on the comeback.
We're not doing that in Florida, okay? We need our kids to breathe.
New numbers show an unexpected jump in new jobless claims.
What I hear from companies, we are ready to hire, but people need to have the skills.
We opened our doors back up. The guests came. The employees, unfortunately, have not.
Texas Democrats begin trickling home after a week dodging their duties.
Was this whole thing a mistake?
I think when you're in the legislative body, you use all the rules that are to your advantage.
The Education Department admits they made a mistake in finding.
How so?
They included advice from the Abolitionist Teaching Network.
It was an error.
You cannot believe them. They have tried to put critical race theory in every aspect of government.
What went through your mind when you see this thing coming towards you and it's like wrapped around your neck?
I didn't want to fall out of the ride, but I didn't want this bird to be pecking at me. So
have a little dirt on my boots, but I'm taking you uptown tonight. Might have a little mud on my wheels, but they gonna shine with you up inside.
Yep, wind up with a little dirt on your boots. That's John Party as we look live at Harrison, Arkansas. Currently 70 degrees as the sun comes up there. They're going for a high of 90. And there you got Mr. Party right there. He's part of the All-American Summer Concert Series. And as he sings Dirt on My Boots, coming up this hour, he's going to be performing Tequila Little Time.
I love country music for that very reason.
Especially this guy. I just don't know of a song that he sings or wrote that doesn't put a smile on your face.
That's not fun, right?
Yeah, he is so aptly named.
His last name is
even
Party.
Though there's no T in it.
Right, it's P-A-R-D-I. And we were laughing about it in the first hour, and I said, is there a Mrs. Party? Because whoever marries him, what a lucky girl to have that last name. Brian looks it up. What's her name?
Her name is Summer.
Summer Party.
Right, and she looks like, and it looks like
She's
they have
gorgeous.
Yeah, and he did the one thing that every country music singer should do. He used the stage to his advantage. He got engaged and surprised her in front of a packed house.
At the Grand Ole
There you
Opry.
see it.
You know what?
Turns out I don't want to give it away, but I believe she says yes.
But see, that's just the peril. As we have seen several times, sometimes people choose a very large venue
in the crowd
where there are a lot of people watching, and they'll go, "Will you marry me?" And the woman goes, "No!"
Right.
That happened this week.
Did it really?
Yes. Not with him, obviously, but at a ball game.
Really? She said no in front of the whole crowd?
Turned around and ran off.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Friday night will be date night for both of them.
Right.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
But that was Dirk Bentley because he used to open up for Dirk Bentley.
Okay.
So that was on his Instagram.
And look, he's become so famous now. It's 8:02 here on the East Coast, and let's talk about the fight for face coverings. The White House calls out Florida's Governor, Ron DeSantis, for opposing school mask mandates.
They love taking him on, don't they? Meanwhile, the Biden administration insists there's still no decision on nationwide mask mandates.
Well, the administration is probably taking on the governor because they view him as a political rival on the national level. Griff Jenkins joins us right now from our nation's capital to break it all down and explain what is going on this Friday, Party Day.
Good morning, Steve Ainsley and Brian. Happy Friday. And we do have a war of words. The White House scolding Florida's Governor, Ron DeSantis, for refusing to force children to mask up in school. After the president revealed this week that the CDC will soon advise kids under 12 must wear a face covering.
There's been talk about potentially people advocating at the federal level imposing compulsory masks on kids. We're not doing that in Florida, okay? We need our kids to breathe.
But White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki claiming maskless schools will put kids at risk, adding her children are quite adjusted to covering their faces in public.
If I were a parent in Florida, that would be greatly concerning to me because kids under the age of 12 are not vaccinated. They're not eligible yet.
It didn't end there. DeSantis' press secretary hitting back, speaking of Breitbart News, saying parents like Psaki who feel more comfortable muzzling their children are not following the science. With that said, parents are allowed to make their own choices in Florida. Masks just won't be mandated in schools. Meanwhile, Psaki insists no determination has been reached on mandating masks, deferring to the CDC.
We are regularly in touch and have regular meetings with CDC about how to continue to address the virus. There hasn't been a decision made. It will always be led with public health guidance, and they've made that very clear.
And important to note, the CDC is sticking with its current guidance. Director Rochelle Walensky insisting it is still an individual's choice to wear a mask if vaccinated. Steve Ainsley, Brian?
Well, thank you very much, Griff. If they change that guidance, people are going to be steamed because we were told if you get the shot, you don't have to wear the mask.
Steve, I've been reading Los Angeles. There's huge pushback. These people are outraged, and they've been locked down arguably harder than anybody in the country.
Well, you have to wear a mask inside.
Indoors. So
you've been vaccinated.
And you know what happens? People go, yeah, I'm not going to go to a restaurant. I'm going to go stay home. So you're not helping anybody by doing that.
Well, that's one of the reasons that Gavin Newsom is being recalled because of the lockdowns down there. Let's bring in Sarah Huckabee Sanders. We're hoping she's not wearing a mask. No, there she is. She's running for governor, by the way, in Arkansas. Sarah, good morning to you.
Sarah.
Good morning. Great to be back with you guys.
So the CDC is talking to the White House about changing the mask mandate because we see these surges of coronavirus. Almost all of it is with the unvaccinated. So whether it is at the state level or the federal level, got to figure out what to do about the people who have not yet gotten the shot. If you have, in my opinion, if you have the opportunity and you can, you should. But this is a real problem because we don't want more restrictions.
And mainly for students. They were talking about students with the masks at school.
Absolutely, and I think Governor DeSantis is exactly right. He's done a great job in Florida. If I'm elected governor here in Arkansas, we will not have mask mandates. We will not have mandates on the vaccine. We will not shut down churches and schools and other large gatherings because we believe in personal freedom and responsibility. That's one of the key cornerstones, frankly, of our country. I do think if President Biden and Vice President Harris and others on the left are serious about helping save lives through the vaccine, they should admit they were wrong when they cast doubt on Operation Warp Speed at the very beginning and give President Trump and his administration the credit they are due for helping get this vaccine created safely, quickly, and effectively and into the hands of Americans. I think that would make a huge difference, and I think that they should really take some responsibility and step up and fix the mistake that they made by casting so much doubt at the very beginning of this process.
Rough stats, about 80% they say of Democrats are vaccinated, about 52% of Republicans are vaccinated. And the president doesn't have to go far to see his frustration. Get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If he really wants to do everything possible, including knocking on doors, number one, he would actually put some security on the border. He's letting 1 million plus people in here. We have no idea their medical history. 900% increase in the Rio Grande Valley in positive tests, number one. And number two, the other thing he would do is say, I have to give credit to the previous administration for Operation Warp Speed. And he could say, I'm very proud of the way we were able to get those shots in arms and everyone had a chance to say yes or no by May. He could do both things, couldn't he?
Absolutely. This was a vaccine that was created safely and effectively under the Trump administration, and he should give credit to that administration. I think that would make a huge difference in the rhetoric, take away some of the politicization that we have seen over the course of the last year on this particular issue. If they would admit they were wrong when they cast that original doubt on Operation Warp Speed and give some credit to the previous administration, I think it could make a difference.
Sarah, let's talk about the economy. Every week we get the jobless claims numbers, and this week a surprise jump to 419,000. That's the most in the last 2 months. Employees are struggling to find workers. We can't find truck drivers to deliver items to the grocery stores.
Look at all those job openings.
Oh my goodness. There's a lot.
Almost 10 million.
Yes, exactly. People are even offering perks for new hires. And if you ask this administration, the Commerce Secretary, she says it's not a worker shortage, it is a shortage in talent. Listen.
Would you assess, Madam Secretary, the worker shortage that many employers are finding, where they're having difficulty getting back up, especially in some of the hospitality and tourist areas?
It is acute. There is every business I talk to says that they need to find talent. So I don't know if I would call it a shortage per se. I would say there's a skills gap. What I hear all the time is from companies, we are ready to hire, but people need to have the skills. And so that's what we have to get at the business of. And by the way, we need to make sure that women and people of color and people in rural areas have those digital skills so they can get those good jobs.
So if you don't have a job, you're just not talented enough, apparently.
Not only is she absolutely missing the mark here, but it's really hard for businesses to hire employees when the Biden administration is paying them so much to sit at home and do nothing.
That's right.
They need to stop paying people to stay home, and if they really care about that workforce development, start putting some of that money into job skills training and matching those people up with high-skilled jobs, and stop wasting taxpayer money keeping people at home when they're capable and should be at work and engaged in the workforce. They have to stop doing that, and we're seeing the effects of that, particularly in these numbers over the last couple of months.
Well, and a couple of nights ago at that town hall in Ohio, Joe Biden kind of admitted that the extra money was keeping people on the sidelines. He goes, you know what? If that is happening, it's over, so forget about it.
It's over in September.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sarah, a couple of days ago here on the channel, on Fox and Friends, we broke this story about how the Department of Education, in looking to reopen America's schools, had sent out to over 10,000 school districts a roadmap to reopening. And in the footnotes, it said, if you have any questions on race or social emotional learning, click right here. And you were taken to the Abolitionist Teaching Network, which, when you look at what they teach critical race theory, social justice, things like that. Within an hour after this program, the Education Department came out and said, you know what, that's a big mistake. And we're going to take that down. Peter Doocy asked about this of Jen Psaki, who used to stand at the same podium you did in the White House yesterday, and she had this to say about that.
The Education Department admits they made a mistake in their guide for reopening.
How so?
Well, they included advice from the Abolitionist Teaching Network, and they came out and said that was not supposed to be in there. Is the administration going to follow up with school districts to make sure that the Abolitionist Teaching Network material is not in lesson plans?
What you're referring to is a citation in a report of which there were 1,000 citations. So I'm quite impressed with your researchers for finding one of 1,000 citations. It was an error in a lengthy document to include this citation. The specific site does not represent the administration's view, and we don't endorse the recommendations of this group. And I believe it's been removed or is in the process of being removed.
But we are.
And Sarah, she said, well, congratulations to your research team finding that one outfit. Of course, it was the only one mentioned. Out of thousands of citations. We looked in this document. There are not thousands. There's 182 citations and 74 footnotes at the end. Clearly, the administration is embarrassed, not that they put it in there, but that they got caught.
Of course they are. This has nothing to do with the fact that they aren't supporting this theory, but everything to do with the fact that someone at Fox News called them out on it. It is absolutely appalling that we would try to teach a generation of students that America is somehow a racist and evil country. This is a country created on the opposite of that idea. And if we push this theory, not only will it destroy our country, but raising a generation of kids to hate the country and hate each other, I can't think of anything more damaging or more opposite to who we are as a country. Let it not be lost on anyone that the radical left is not looking to just change policy. They are looking to fundamentally change who we are as a country. And we cannot sit back and not hold their feet to the fire and call them out when they try to push this outlandish radical left type of teaching, particularly when it is in our schools. We should take away their funding and push back in the most aggressive manner possible, because this is something we cannot allow to take place in schools across our great country.
And they're doing it in a very surreptitious way. What else are they hiding from us? They're sneaking this in so that the right doesn't find out. Pretty scary.
Absolutely. The reason America is the greatest country that the world has ever known is because we're the freest country the world has ever known. And we have people who want to take that away and change who we are as a country and teach an entire generation that we are something other than that. And I think that that is appalling, and we should be very aggressive in pushing back and making sure that doesn't happen.
All right. Sarah, thank you very much for joining us on this Friday. Have a great weekend.
You bet. Thank you for letting me be on.
All right, good luck with your run for governor. It's in full swing and very successful so far. Meanwhile, 15 minutes after the hour, according to reports, Jillian is prepared to do the news.
I am. Good morning. So let's go ahead and do just that and begin with this. The NYPD is looking for a group who brutally beat and robbed a woman in Harlem. Now, we do want to warn you, the video is disturbing, but in it, you can see 3 women and a man pulling a 61-year-old woman off her walker, pushing her to the ground, and viciously beating her. At one point, a woman is seen hitting the victim with a cooking pot. The suspects made off with the victim's walker, $22 and credit cards. The woman is recovering from her injuries. 30% of immigrants in ICE custody have refused the COVID vaccine. ICE says out of the 27,000 migrants in detainment, more than 1,100 of them have tested positive for COVID. And according to Axios, ICE has given more than 9,500 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Then there's this story. A plane's landing gear falls right in the middle of a Maine golf course. Police say the piece came from a plane that took off from the Portland Jetport and landed on a fairway at the Gorham Country Club. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The pilot of that small plane was able to perform a safe belly landing on Long Island. Wow, that is incredible. And it is the smack scene all around the world. Teenager Kylie Holman gets a wild surprise when this right here happens. A seagull smashes right into her face on an amusement park ride in New Jersey. Well, she joined us earlier on Fox and Friends to discuss the quite feathery fiasco.
Once they shot us up, I saw it and it was going the opposite direction and then turned around and came right into me. And then I quickly grabbed it and threw it off me.
Holman said it actually didn't hurt, even though the ride was going about 75 miles per hour. I've seen this about 100 times, and it gets me every time.
Absolutely.
Every time.
You just want to throw it away and then wash. Although birds are very clean.
No. What?
Yeah,
no.
Birds are clean.
I don't think so.
I'd rather not test the theory.
I don't think pigeons are.
Well,
right?
I think
We'll ask Bert and Ernie.
Aren't pigeons rats with wings?
I nickname that. But think about it. Bird baths, they're constantly cleaning themselves off.
Right.
Anyway, I would still shower immediately.
All right, thank you, Jillian. Military leaders warning of a complete Taliban takeover in Afghanistan as nearly all American troops have been withdrawn. General Jack Keane, he's going to assess the Taliban threat coming up next with Brian.
Yeah, he predicted it all, and President Biden finally takes action in Cuba, sanctioning the communist officials, the White House's new effort as the fight for freedom continues, that they're just waking up to.
How it's supposed to be, a little bit alive. I'm breathing
it's time for something like this. Now get a $20 Best Western gift card every night you stay. Take the leap. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Before Nexium 24-hour, Hannah could only imagine a comfortable night's sleep without frequent heartburn waking her up. Now, that dream is her reality. Nexium 24-hour stops acid before it starts for all-day, all-night protection. Can you imagine 24 hours without heartburn?
This past school year has been filled with ups and downs, and like most parents, you may be worried your child isn't on track for fall. With the Becca Academy video lessons, your child will not only get back on track, they'll stay a step ahead. The Becca Spiral Learning Method constantly reinforces what has been taught, so they can retain more and not lose ground or confidence along the way. Becca is faith-based, easy to follow, and used by millions, and now it's the perfect time to try Becca for free. Go to abecca.com/free trial for 25 free hours of video lessons.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price plus free shipping.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
It's well established, and we all know that what we eat affects every aspect of our health, including our immune system, our circulatory system. It doesn't matter what. We are awesome chemical laboratories. That's why I scientifically formulated Balance of Nature. There's hundreds of thousands of chemicals in every fruit and vegetable that are naturally there. And many of those chemicals attribute to the plant's immune system. And what's awesome about it is we get that chemistry in our own immune system. That nutrition that we need is damaged by heat, air, and light. So our processes are done under vacuum, in dark and cold. And by doing that, we preserve that nutrition of that fresh, whole fruit and vegetable nutrition. When you take Balance of Nature, it's all there, just as Mother Nature intended.
Start your journey with the best fruit and vegetable product on the market by going to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FOXNEWS.
Lawlessness on the West Coast, inside the homeless camp crime wave, turning cities into shanty towns. Don't miss Tucker Carlson tonight.
Broken air conditioner? That could be a $4,400 bill you weren't expecting. Fridge on the fritz? That could cost you $2,500. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered item breaks, call or click. That's it. And we'll repair or replace it for you. We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $25 a month. Why let a major system or appliance breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of trying to find trustworthy service people?
Saved us thousands of dollars, and I know they have my back.
Last year alone, we saved our customers over $140 million. Don't wait until it's too late and you're stuck with a huge repair bill.
If you don't have First American warranty, get it.
Call 1-800-716-8621 or visit protectmybudget.com for a free no-obligation quote. That's 1-800-716-8621.
Roughly speaking, the order of magnitude, a significant amount of territory has been seized over the course of 6, 8, 10 months sort of thing by the Taliban. There's a possibility of a negotiated outcome that's still out there. There's a possibility of a complete Taliban takeover or a possibility of any number of other scenarios.
Well, that was General Milley awkwardly trying to defend his dismount from Afghanistan, meaning America's, as he acknowledged that a complete Taliban takeover is possible in Afghanistan, with the Islamist group making significant gains as U.S. troop withdrawal is massive, quick, and going to be done by the end of August. Let's bring in Fox News senior strategic analyst, retired four-star General Jack Keane. General, when I was reading that, people saw at home, the map right now of Afghanistan with the Taliban in control. What's significant about what they control and what they don't control?
Yeah, certainly. Well, the chairman's marks are certainly fortuitous. I mean, there is a possibility here with the momentum that the Taliban have gained, largely due to lack of U.S. presence, particularly air power and in robust intelligence capability, which gets you to be able to figure out what the Taliban is up to. That is a possibility, certainly, that the Taliban is going to take control. And let's think about this. I mean, certainly President Biden, when he made the decision to pull all U.S. forces out, does not want the Taliban to take control and Al-Qaeda and ISIS to resurge, which we know would likely happen. But reasonable people can be on both sides of that decision. And we have discussed that right here on Fox and Friends, the details of that decision. But what they failed to do is put in place a good transition and strategy to deal with the situation without those 2,500 U.S. forces on the ground. And you can see the scraping around to try to find places to position our airplanes, to work out a strategy dealing with the security of the Kabul airport that was not in place.
Yep.
So we have a huge problem on our hands. Half of those districts, as the map indicates, are under the control of the Taliban. Now, the Afghan security forces willingly gave some of that up because without air power, they can't defend throughout the entire country. So they're consolidating their forces around the provincial capitals, which there are 34, and they're still in control of those. But the Taliban at some point is going to exert pressure on those capital cities. And it's coming. They may wait until the 31st of August when U.S. forces are officially out. I think they'll probably start to move before that. And that is an ideal time to use U.S. air power. Now, I am encouraged by something. Our viewers may not know it, but the U.S. air power was applied for the first time in months in support of the Afghan security forces this week on Wednesday and Thursday, 4 times. That is a good thing. And hopefully, that plan will continue as we go into the future. Because that would be very decisive. And and we got to think about regionally what's happening here. Russia, China, and certainly Iran are all the beneficiaries of this. But at the same time, I'm convinced those three countries do not want the Taliban in control with a robust Al-Qaeda presence in Afghanistan. That's not in any of their interests.
Right. And
so there's things that we can do here.
Exactly. General, you were never saying stay in there forever. You're saying keep a small force there with air power. It would have kept them at bay forever. Their number 2 came out over the weekend and said, in spite of our gains and advances, they favor talks and a political settlement with the government. So keep in mind, they're not as optimistic when it comes to taking the capital. You also wanted to talk about, and I agree, the WHO, for some reason, is beginning to understand that China is not being transparent with this pandemic investigation, and they want additional access to the lab to further study the origins of this virus. And the answer was quick and direct from China. Essentially, no, we will not accept such an origins tracing plan, as it in some aspects disregards common sense and defies science, and we hope the WHO will seriously review the considerations and suggestions made by the Chinese experts and truly treat the origin tracing of the COVID-19 virus as a scientific matter and grid of political interference. They also tossed it back at us and said it happened at Fort Detrick. What's significant about their pushback?
Well, first of all, the WHO is trying to recover their reputation somewhat. They conducted an investigation, and it was a sham, because the Chinese officials never let them at any of the raw data or talk to the real people who were involved in this process in the Wuhan laboratory. They had to take the Chinese officials' interpretation of the data. So they want this investigation, and is demanding that as a condition for the investigation. Chinese officials, not surprising, after all of this time, a year plus, they are never going to admit that they were responsible for the origin of this virus, and certainly, even more so, they're never going to admit that they're responsible for the spread of it. And there's evidence, I think, substantial evidence now to support both of those. But Xi is about protecting his image and the CCP. Powerful, competent, and effective. That's why it's on his mind, and that is why he's lying through his teeth about that, because he doesn't want that damaged and weaken the image of his domestic audience, which is his Achilles heel. He can't exist without their support, and that's what this is all about.
And we have to make it clear to the rest of the world, they killed their ineptness resulted in the deaths of millions of people around the globe and destroyed countless economies, including ours. General Jack Keane, thanks so much.
Yeah, great talking to you, Brian. Have a wonderful weekend.
Absolutely, you too. Meanwhile, coming up straight ahead, Venice Beach residents are fed up. Can you blame them? As the homeless crisis takes over a community again, not even 1 week after the city council cleaned up the boardwalk. And definitely an unwanted passenger. We'll tell you how this bear wound up inside this man's car.
I'm standing here until you make me move. I'm bringing back moments here with you.
Here's my new dress. What's that? Oh, Damperin.
Damperin? Damperin. It gets rid of musty odors.
How? Damperin attracts and traps excess moisture,
Eliminating the source of musty odors.
mustiness, gone. Damperin.
It's an important time to save. With Priceline, you can get up to 60% off amazing hotels. And when you get a big deal, you feel like a big deal. Priceline. Every trip is a big deal.
I'm so glad you're okay, Sergeant Houston. This is Sam with USAA. Do you see the tow truck?
Yes, thank you. That was fast.
Sergeant Houston never expected this to happen. Or that her grandpa's dog tags would be left behind. But that one call got her a tow and rental, paid her claim, and we even pulled a few strings, making it easy to make things right. That's what we're made for. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. Get a quote today.
Summer is a state of mind you can visit anytime. Savor your summer with Lincoln.
If you just want a slice of pizza, you don't buy the whole pie. So if you don't spend all day on your phone, why pay for more than you need? For as low as $20 a month, you can get talk, text, and data from Consumer Cellular with no contract and connections on the nation's largest wireless networks. You'll also receive award-winning support. Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service again. Plus, AARP members get exclusive discounts. Switch to Consumer Cellular today. With our 30-day guarantee, it's completely risk-free. Call, go online, or find us at Target.
People everywhere living with type 2 diabetes are waking up to what's possible with Rebelsis. Rebelsis works differently than any other diabetes pill to lower blood sugar in all 3 of these ways. Increases insulin when you need it, decreases sugar, and slows food. The majority of people taking Rebelsis lowered their blood sugar and reached an A1C of less than 7. People taking Rebelsis lost up to 8 pounds. Rebelsis isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't take Rebelsis if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer, or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if allergic to it. Stop Rebelsis and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Rebelsis with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Wake up to what's possible with Rebelsis. You may pay as little as $10 per prescription. Ask your healthcare provider about Rebelsis today.
When you
Can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
Good morning to you and welcome back. Police released the frantic 911 call from the Murdaugh murders. Take a listen as Alex Murdaugh tells the dispatcher he's found his wife and son shot to death outside their South Carolina home.
Okay. Okay, and are they breathing? No, ma'am. Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son? My wife and my son.
Police have not named any suspects in their murders. At least 2 Texas Democratic lawmakers have returned home after more than a week on Capitol Hill. While in Washington, 6 of the Democrats tested positive for COVID after being pictured maskless on their flight to D.C. Texas State Representative Harold Dutton Jr. went to Washington but was not on that plane. He did join us earlier to discuss the positive cases. Take a listen.
I'm sure that they would all wear masks had they known the outcome of where we are now.
The group is accused of infecting officials for both House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and President Biden. Back in the Lone Star State, Republicans still need 7 more Democrats for the legislature to resume session. And a wild viral video shows the terrifying moment a man coaxes a bear out of his car. Watch.
Go! 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 Go!
Oh my gosh. No thank you. The man identified as Joseph Deal carefully and quickly opens the door of his car to get the bear out. Deal and his friends yelling and making loud noises, of course, to scare the bear off. Deal posting another video showing the aftermath. Look at that, inside his car. The bear doing a bit of damage there. It apparently got in because the car was unlocked. That is Look Your Headlines, Ainsley.
The bear opened the door and got in?
Got it.
Wow. That's one brave dude to stand there
One
next
very
to
skillful bear.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Jillian. The residents of Venice Beach have just had it. Not even 1 week after the California city conducted a massive cleanup, the iconic boardwalk is once again swarming with drugs and homeless encampments, with officials now promising to continue the cleanup at the end of the month. Vicki Halliday with Fight Back Venice joins us now. Good morning to you, Vicki.
Morning.
Venice Beach used to be such a beautiful place. Now the boardwalk is taken over by the homeless encampments there. What is going on? How's this impacting you?
It's getting better. I live about a block from the beach and a block from the last zone to be cleaned up. The cleanup areas are very clean, which we're excited about. We are promised that by the 30th of July, everybody will be gone. And of course now we're concerned about what sort of maintenance plan the city and LAPD have to keep it that way.
And what are the leaders saying?
The leaders haven't said very much. As a lot of people are aware, Venice Beach is typically under the jurisdiction of LAPD, whose hands have been politically tied because they do answer to the city. The LA County Sheriff Villanueva swept in and decided that this was a disaster and to do something about it. So he broke up a logjam because we had been sitting with this for over a year. And the process is slow, but I think all of us are beginning to become a little bit hopeful. The tragedy is we aren't sure where all of these people are going to go over the long term because most of them are going into Project Roomkey motel rooms, and that won't last forever.
Well, Vicki, the images that we're seeing, many of them were sent in by you, and there's one of someone sleeping on top of a couple of mattresses. Is this what you see every day?
Yes.
My gosh. Well, then what did you make of Gavin Newsom saying, welcoming homeless people all over the country, come to California for a new beginning?
Well, we thought he could take some in the vineyards up by his place because we've run out of room here. It's a tragedy. We see out-of-state license plates, people sleeping in their cars. I think that California has a very big heart, maybe too big, because Sheriff Villanueva did do a count by ID on the beach, and it was people from 23 states and 2 countries, one Iraqi actually.
Well, Vicki, I hope that it does get better. I'm glad that you were hopeful. Thank you so much for coming on and painting the picture for us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. President Biden takes action in Cuba, standing against communism, but is it enough? Geraldo Rivera is going to weigh in on that next. And in just minutes, Janice Dean is going to join us live from the Festival of Ballooning for the hot air balloons.
FoxBet Super 6. Download the app and enter the pop culture questions that have everyone talking. Enter for free for a chance to win $10,000. Download the FoxBet Super 6 app now to get started.
This isn't just freight. These aren't just shipments. They're promises. Promises of all shapes and sizes. Each with a time and a place they've been promised to be. A promise is everything to Old Dominion because it means everything to you.
With Voltaren Arthritis Pain Gel, my husband's got his moves back.
An alternative to pills, Voltaren is the first full prescription strength gel for powerful arthritis pain relief. Voltaren, the joy of movement. And Doug.
Al, are you using Liberty Mutual's coverage customizer tool?
Sorry?
Well, since you asked, it finds discounts and policy recommendations, so you only pay for what you need. Limo, you're an animal! Who's got the bird legs now?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Carl and Alan have a lot in common. They're staying at the same hotel, with the same outdoor space, the same pool, the same hotel experience. But there's one big difference: the price. You see, Carl found the hotel on his usual website, whereas Alan used Trivago to scan hotel deals from the major booking sites and save $30 a night. Carl, try Trivago next time. Hotel Trivago.
This is John. He's feeling confident. Is this the confidence that only comes from a bold new hairstyle?
It's perfect.
No! It's the confidence of someone who knows their rates before talking to a dealer with Cargaroo's Finance in Advance. See that smirk? That's from knowing the process only takes minutes. That poise? That's from knowing he has a personalized financing offer before contacting the dealer. That take-charge attitude? That's from knowing there's no impact on his credit score. The confidence of knowing before you contact the dealer with Cargaroo's Finance in Advance. No haircut required.
We pull people off the street and ask them about their hearts.
How's your heart?
My heart's pretty good. You sure? How do you know? You're driving a car. You have the check engine light, but the heart doesn't have a hey, check heart sign.
With KardioMobile, the FDA-cleared personal EKG device, you can take a medical-grade EKG in just 30 seconds from anywhere. KardioMobile is proven to detect atrial fibrillation, one of the leading causes of stroke. KardioMobile is available for just $89. Order at KardioMobile.com or Amazon. To make my vision a reality, I have to take every perspective and see clearly from every point of view. With my Verilux progressive lenses, I seamlessly transition from near to far and see every detail in sharp focus. When you see no limits, there are no limits. Book now at your local Essilor expert to push the limits of your vision. Verilux lenses by Essilor.
My name is Kevin Trimble, retired Army specialist. September 18th, 2011, we were clearing a village of IEDs, and we found one that was buried in a wall. And before we got it out, before we really, found all the parts, it was command detonated from a little ways away, and it killed a friend of mine and took away both my legs and my left arm.
There are over 1,000 families that need our help. Talented Towers is honoring those heroes that risked their lives by providing them with mortgage-free homes.
My previous home was a fairly small apartment. It was functional, but far from optimal. And the stove's going to be useful because when you're dealing with, hot pots and pans and cooking, getting it at a height where you can actually manage everything is just safer is the biggest part.
I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their efforts. Please visit ThomasTheTowers.org.
Biden has authorized sanctions against communist Cuban officials in the wake of that crackdown during those anti-government protests a couple weeks ago. In a statement, the president warns, quote, "This is just the beginning. The United States will continue to sanction individuals responsible for the oppression of the Cuban people." Geraldo Rivera has been calling on the White House to do more. He joins us now to react. Geraldo, good morning to you.
Hi, Steve. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay, thank you very much. Joe Biden, it looked like he was going to, essentially lift some of the Trump-era sanctions against Cuba, but then they had the big crackdown on the protesters, and now he can't do that.
He was definitely heading in that direction, Steve. You're absolutely right. Cuba Libre, we talk about Cuba Libre, rum and Coke. It's more than a tropical drink, though. It's the aspiration of millions of Cubans living under communist rule. And the scale and the spread of these anti-government protests in Cuba really is unprecedented. So I absolutely agree with President Biden to sanction the defense minister and the Black Berets, this elite unit that have been responsible for really knocking heads, the brutal crackdown. So with the sanctions imposed, they can't have access to international markets, no trade, even remittances. The money going from Cuban Americans to those in Cuba have been cut off for now. I think that we may be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, though. The people who are suffering from our sanctions, particularly sanctioning, we're not allowing vaccines, the coronavirus vaccines, to get to this stricken island. I think that we can't let Cubans die just because their leaders are these sick communists. I think in the name of humanity,
to really help the people of Cuba is figure out how to get them internet service, because we were able to see that uprising 2 weeks ago because they had service to social media companies and stuff like that. They could upload things, they could coordinate the rallies and the protests all across the island. They have since pulled the plug on it, but there have been some suggestions that the federal government could float a weather balloon over it, get them internet so they can get the word out.
I'm all for that. I just want to point out, this is in today's New York Times. This is a group of liberals, progressives, who say that Cuba, the sanctions are doing more harm to ordinary Cubans than to the Cuban government. And the Cuban reply to all this is that the United States should look after its own acts of repression, and they point to the riots and the looting and etc. last year. In terms of the internet, I believe that that's all part of my suggestion is open up to Cuba. Let the cruise ships go there. Let the cell phones go there. Let the satellite service go there. Let the everyday U.S. Commerce and life. And if we open up Cuba the way we open up Vietnam and China, I think that we have a better chance of affecting the government's relationship with the Cuban people.
Indeed. All right, Geraldo, thank you very much for weighing in today out in Cleveland. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
All right, now let's check in with Janice Dean, who's on location in New Jersey in front of a Sunny Days kind of balloon that looks a lot like that book you did.
Oh, make your own sunshine?
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what's happening. This is the official balloon for the New Jersey Lottery. This, of course, is the big ballooning festival that's happening all weekend, 3 days, starting with today. And I got to take a little ride earlier. Have a watch. Oh, this is takeoff, I guess. Oh, my God. Oh. Hi! We're actually flying. This is amazing. And the weather is spectacular, Fox and friends. How do we look? Is the weather good?
It's perfect.
Oh, good. I made that happen, by the way. Thank you so much to Bruce Byberg, who was the pilot in the balloon, and thankfully we didn't land in anybody's backyard. It was, pretty good landing, a little bumpy, I'm not going to lie, but it is a beautiful weekend. Let's take a look at the forecast for this part of New Jersey. Of course, the weekend is going to be sunny and high 80s. Looking good today and Saturday. Sunday, we could see a few scattered thunderstorms, but of course, all the pilots will be watching the weather, and we will certainly give you the latest on the forecast. Here from New Jersey for the official New Jersey Lottery Ballooning Festival in New Jersey. I can't wait to see all the balloons up there in the beautiful yonder. And it's been a great pleasure here, Steve. Back to you.
Great having you out there today. All right, JD, thank you very much. Meanwhile, almost done with our show, but stay tuned. We've got a special performance from country music star John Party coming up next. But first, Mr. Friday Party, Bill Hemmer joins us right now with a preview of coming attractions.
He's got the right last name, doesn't he, Steve? Party. But with an I. Nice to see you. Have a great weekend, Steve. Thank you. Who's going to buy Hunter Biden's art? The White House doesn't seem to have a problem with all this. We'll have a second look at that today. The Communist Chinese government will not open the door to further COVID investigations. This is a big problem for the world. We'll have a look at that as well. That radical teaching in the classroom called a mistake from the White House. Well, what happens to the 13,000 schools who were already notified? Mark Meadows, Morgan Ortegas, our Friday Money team on what matters to you. See you in 10 minutes, top of the hour on a Friday morning.
From prom dresses to workouts and new adventures, you hope the more you give, the less they'll miss. But even if your teen was vaccinated against meningitis in the past, they may be missing vaccination for meningitis B. Although uncommon, up to 1 in 5 survivors of meningitis will have long-term consequences. Now, as you're thinking about all the vaccines your teen might need, make sure you ask your doctor if your teen is missing meningitis B vaccination.
It's a wish list on wheels. A choice that requires no explanation. It's where safe and daring seamlessly intersect. It's understated, yet over-delivers. It is truly the Mercedes-Benz of sports sedans. Visit your local Mercedes-Benz dealer today for exceptional lease and financing offers.
Priceline will partner with even more Vegas hotels to turn their unsold rooms into amazing deals. Delegates, how do you vote? That is freaky. Priceline, every trip is a big deal.
We do it every night.
Do it. Run your dishwasher with Cascade Platinum to save water and energy. Certified dishwashers use less than 4 gallons of water per cycle. And you can also save up to $130 per year on your energy bill. Cascade Platinum.
The Delta variant, delaying return to work? Inside the factors Wall Street executives are now weighing. Plus, do consumers think inflation is here to stay? Neil covers it all on Cavuto Live.
Meet Lexi.
You think I'm sexy?
No, Len. Lexi, the complete hearing solution that fixes everything broken with hearing aids. No more bulky styles, high price tags.
It costs what now?
And tedious tuning. Lexi delivers discreet premium hearing aids directly to you. With Lexi, your health and hearing are back in your hands. You get the finest Bluetooth-capable hearing aids on the planet, and an easy-to-use app to adjust volume and settings. If you do need assistance, Lexi comes with access to a team of hearing experts at no additional cost. You get premium hearing aids and all-inclusive service for only $49 a month. Life is happening now. Don't miss out.
Mention this special TV offer and get your first 2 months free, plus a hearing aid dryer, while supplies last. That's a $167 savings. Go to LexiHearing.com. That's LexiHearing.com.
Broken air conditioner? That could be a $4,400 bill you weren't expecting. Fridge on the fritz? That could cost you $2,500. Get the First American Home Warranty Plan. And when a covered item breaks, call or click. That's it. And we'll repair or replace it for you. We have plans that cover air conditioning, most appliances, plus heating, plumbing, electrical systems, and much more. Plans start as low as $25 a month.
Why let a major system or appliance breakdown bust your budget or go through the hassle of trying to find trustworthy service people?
Saved us thousands of dollars.
And I know they have my back.
Last year alone, we saved our customers over $140 million. Don't wait until it's too late and you're stuck with a huge repair bill.
If you don't have First American warranty, get it.
Call 1-800-716-8621 or visit protectmybudget.com for a free no-obligation quote. That's 1-800-716-8621.
You know his voice from hits like Dirt on My Boots, and he's singing right there, and Heartache on the Dance Floor, which is Brian's theme song.
Now country music singer John Party is getting back on tour after being placed on a vocal rest back in June.
I hope he'll talk to us now. John Party joins us now for the All-American Summer Concert Series, a little bit different, with a performance of his hit song Tequila a Little Time.
Tequila a Little Time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But John, first off, what happened to your voice? Are you okay now?
Yeah, everything's good. Just a lot of not singing over the pandemic and then going 0 to 60. And then I had kind of something from 2014 on my last vocal scope that just kind of had to change some things, diet, lots of water, surprising allergy medicines like Allegra and stuff. They dry you out, and I learned a lot. So it's actually been good. Cut back on dairy, and I'm rocking every weekend now. Thanks to Vanderbilt. They're great here in Tennessee and Nashville.
Nice.
So
that's
got me on the right path.
You know, you're there in Tennessee right now, but you were born, I believe, in California. And you love country music immediately, but explain how you owe your career really to the fact that your grandmother had a karaoke machine.
Well, my grandma, bless her heart, she loved country music and she loved to sing, and it was for fun. You know, she wasn't trying to be a professional singer or anything.
Yeah.
But she loved to sing, and she loved her little karaoke machine. And you know, I was 4 or 5, and we started singing together. And we just kind of singing to the radio, and it all kind of came together. I remember getting the cassette tapes and put them in there to a blank tape and singing on that. So there's still some recordings out there.
John, your last name, were you born with the last name Party?
Yes, that's my dad's name and my family's name.
It's the best name. And your wife is Summer Party, right?
She's now Summer Party.
We have a picture of how you got engaged. What was that like?
Nervous. It was fun. You know, when you know, and it's more confident that way. I feel like.
You knew she'd say yes.
And so we're at the Ryman in Nashville. I had 2 sold-out shows, and then the last one I asked her to marry me, and it was cool. It was a special moment, and something we'll never forget. And then the global pandemic happened.
Yep. Well, we're glad that things are getting back to normal. You can get your tickets to see John Party live on tour at johnparty.com. And now it's time to do, it's like karaoke, only you're going to be on Fox and Friends. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, John Party, doing Tequila Little Time. Watch. information, go to johnparty.com.
Gosh, that's like a country, and it sounds a little like you're in the Caribbean.
Great.
Right. It sounds like everyone's going to be playing that all weekend long. Who would not download that song? Meanwhile, I hope you can join me tonight at 7. Amongst our guests, General David Petraeus, Michael Waltz, exclusive critical race theory in the military, Mark Thiessen on what President Biden just did in the Ukraine, which might be worse than anything they accused Donald Trump of doing, and a guy named Will Kane.
And a guy named Pete Hegseth.
Oh, right. I apologize. Pete Hegseth.
Holy cow.
Have you had fun? How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
All right.
Yeah.
Working 2 shows.
It's
and
that
I'm
OT.
for the day.
It's just hard to have a personal life.
There you go. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us all week long on Fox and Friends. We'll see you back here on the couch on Monday. In the meantime, America's Newsroom.
Thank you, guys. Good morning on a Friday, 9 o'clock here in New York. American city's in the grip of a crime wave, another chaotic scene in our nation's capital. This time, gunfire erupting in a part of town that was packed with restaurants, the violence forcing customers to duck and cover behind their tables. Happened around 8 o'clock last night. Good morning, everybody. What are we going to do about it? I'm Bill Hemmer. Dana's got the day off today. Julie's back with us, though.
I'm going to
Nice
help
see
you kick
JB.
off the weekend. Is that
Cool.
okay?
Let's do that.
I'm Julie Banderas. This is America's Newsroom. So that video was taken, by the way, by 2 of our own producers who just happened to be at that restaurant last night when the shooting happened, the area about a mile from the White House.
So here is what it looked like outside the restaurant. 2 suspects running into a getaway car, speeding away. Witnesses say they fired around 20 shots and wounding 2 people.
And D.C. is no stranger to this. Just last Saturday, gunfire erupted near a packed baseball stadium, the chaos sending fans scrambling into the dugout. Here's what the D.C. police chief said last night.
This is unacceptable. That's the bottom line. It is totally unacceptable. We'll find the individuals and we'll hold them accountable. And that's what we have to do as an entire city. When it comes to people who are not afraid to use guns in our community, there has to be a measure of accountability there. We have to make sure that these individuals are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
So let's start Team Fox coverage in Chicago. David Spun reports on the Biden administration launching a strike force against illegal guns. But first, Lucas Tomlinson on the fallout now and the situation in our nation's capital. What is going on there, Lucas? Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. Just last month, D.C.'s mayor wanted the city to spend less money on police. Now many people here in the nation's capital are asking, where are the police? Witnesses described a war zone last night. Two men were wounded when 20 to 30 shots rang out at 8:20 p.m. last night on 14th and Riggs Street next to packed restaurants. Many people dining on the street thanks to COVID protocols. D.C. police described the suspect as a black male, wearing a lime green, yellow hooded sweater, fleeing in an older black Honda Civic with D.C. tags, last seen eastbound towards S Street. 2 men were seen fleeing the crime scene and hopping in this getaway car. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser spoke to reporters last night.
I'm outraged, the chief is outraged, the community should be outraged. What we saw tonight, and unfortunately what we saw over the last several days, is an illegal firearm brazenly used on D.C. streets.
The shooting on 14th Street comes just days after shooting outside Nats Park, sending thousands of panicked fans out with their small children rushing for the exits. It comes less than a week after 6-year-old Nia Courtney was shot and killed by a stray bullet not far from the ballpark. D.C. recently crossed the 100 homicide threshold earlier this month. It's the earliest D.C. has crossed that mark in 18 years, Bill. A member of D.C. City Council also spoke last night.
Our courts are not currently operating at full capacity.
The suspects in last night's shooting at Nats Park and in Nia's killing are still at large. Last month and last summer, thousands marched on D.C. streets demanding that police be defunded, and now people are wondering, more police need to be funded.
Well, this happened at D.C. Park last week. Again, Lucas, thank you. We'll look for answers on that and arrest. Lucas Tomlinson, Julie.
All right, Bill. And soaring crime to tell you about in Chicago, more of it, anyway, has the Democratic state's attorney in Cook County under fire. The city's police superintendent says Kim Foxx is too lenient on crime suspects and releases them onto the streets too soon. This accusation comes with Attorney General Merrick Garland visiting the Windy City today. David Spunt is live in Chicago for us this morning. Good morning, David.
Hi, Julie. Good morning to you. The Attorney General Merrick Garland is in his hometown of Chicago with a plan he hopes that will work to curb violence. Listen, violence is a problem not only in Chicago, but many other big cities across the country and small cities as very, very significant. Yesterday, someone was killed. Wednesday night alone, 3 people were killed, including a 14-year-old boy. 17 others were shot. Over the weekend, Julie, 11 people killed, 45 wounded in shootings across the city. Mayor Lori Lightfoot and Superintendent David Brown of the police department, in part, blame the courts. Listen.
Our criminal courts have been shut down for 15 months. They need to reopen.
We have strong advocacy in the courts for offenders and very little for victims.
But Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox's office tells Fox News the courts are open and have been for several months. Fox does admit having a backlog of about 35,000 felony cases that have yet to be heard because of COVID-19, and to help alleviate the backlog, she has proposed a controversial plan of dropping nonviolent crimes like drug offenses and shoplifting. I'll speak with Fox today in a few hours to hear her story about what messaging this sends to criminals and the public. Now, Attorney General Merrick Garland spent part of yesterday and today in Chicago announcing his plan. It's called a strike force to stop gun trafficking in the 5 major corridors of the country. The strike force encourages a jurisdictional approach to combating drug trafficking. Gun trafficking. It focuses on Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, and Washington. But as I mentioned, there are other cities like St. Louis that have big problems. A similar program, Julie, was put into place by former Attorney General Bill Barr in 2019, but the Garland DOJ folks, they tell Fox News this is our turn to try to make a difference. We're building on different programs from the past, and we hope that our plan actually works. Julie?
David Spunt, thank you.
So what is the right answer, right? How do we solve the current crime crisis? We'll talk to D.C. homicide detective Ted Williams coming up momentarily here in this hour. 6 minutes past, now this to the White House.
We're deeply disappointed. Their position is irresponsible and, frankly, dangerous. Alongside other member states around the world, we continue to call for China to provide the needed access to data and samples. And this is critical so we can understand to prevent the next pandemic. This is about saving lives in the future, and it's not a time to be stonewalling.
So will statements like that work? The White House putting China on blast for blocking phase 2 in the investigation of the origins of COVID. Think that'll change anything? Morgan Ortagus is the former State Department spokesperson. She worked for Mike Pompeo. Morgan, good morning to you. The word there from Jen Psaki was irresponsible. You think?
It's beyond irresponsible. The White House is right in their condemnations, but I think it's going to take more because we started these same condemnations and the same call for transparency a year and a half ago. All the stuff that you're seeing in the news right now that's been reported, we knew all this stuff a year and a half ago. And in fact, as Mike Pompeo's spokesperson, we did an off-the-record briefing with major anchors around America, gave them this information. Everything that you're seeing reported now about the possibility of coming out of lab, the only person who ran with it at the time was Brett Baer, and we had every major network represented on that call when we said, guys, look at this information. So that's why Mike Pompeo and I started talking about this a year and a half ago. In February of 2020, while in Munich, Germany, Mike Pompeo started warning the world that China needed to be transparent, needed to be open, and those calls were largely ignored, Bill. What consequence has China suffered for the fact that they have lied to the world about the origins of COVID? Germany is still pushing for trade deals, continue to lie, but they're not really having any repercussions.
Yeah.